Doing lesson 1.5C today, exterior angles of triangles. And I do want to just show you the learning goal for this video. We have, oh, that's not it. We have the I can statement. I'm looking right here. This is in your books. I can apply the exterior angle theorem of triangles to solve for missing angles. And it seems like that's what we've been doing all week is solving for missing angles. What we're going to learn today is just one more way to do that. What I have from our notes here is it starts off with activity 1 of just a picture of a triangle with a line coming off one of the vertexes. Okay, the side gets continued past the vertex. This would be the vertex right here, but this side gets extended past. Okay, so what we're going to talk about is the relationship between that angle that gets formed where W is and all of the other angles. So I'm on page 67. If you're not there, get there and go ahead and copy down these notes. So first things first says, what do we know has to be true for X, Y, and Z? So they're talking about these three angles, X, Y, and Z. Growing up, we always used to say X, Y, Z for examine your zipper in case you accidentally left your zipper unzipped. So X, Y, Z. Those three angles are the angles of the triangle, and we learned earlier this week all triangles, any shape, any size, they all have three angles that add up to 180 degrees. So that's what I'm going to put down. That's what we know has to be true for X, Y, and Z. So we know X plus Y plus Z, put a little dash there so you don't think it's a 2, has to equal 180 degrees when I add those three angles together. Then it says, what do we know has to be true for W and Z? So now we're just focused on Z and W. Okay, well you guys can see those two angles together form this line, and we've gone over this again and again. A line has 180 degrees, so W plus Z has to equal 180 degrees. Oops, forgot my degree symbol. Well, why does that help us? Why is that interesting to us? If you look, I've got two equations where they both equal 180 degrees, right? I could move these. Let's actually do it. I could move these so that they're lined up. And look at this. If I draw a wall here, I have the exact same thing on the right side. What changed? What changed? The Z is still there. You guys can see there's a Z, a plus Z on both of those equations. The only thing that's different is instead of X plus Y, down here, we have W. Now, if I'm adding Z at the end on both of these equations, and both equations equal 180 degrees, okay, all of these are things that we know, that has to mean that this part of the equation, this X plus Y, is the same value as W, right? There's no way to add Z, which is the same angle, on both of these equations to something and have it equal 180 degrees if what we're adding Z to are different amounts. You can't have that. So really, what we're taking away from this, I'm going to deconstruct my equation here. What I'm taking away from this is these two pieces right here. Well, let's erase that. We don't need that. Have to equal each other. X plus Y has to be the same thing as W. That has to be true, right? If, let me fill this back in, if if X plus Y plus Z is equal to 180 degrees, which it is, it's the angles of the interior angles of the triangle, and W plus Z has to equal 180 degrees because they form that line, then X plus Y has to be the same thing as W. That has to be true. We're going to use that to answer the or solve for the missing angles in activity 2. So this is called, this right here is called, is what we're referring to when we say the exterior angle theorem. And what it's showing you, x plus y has to equal w. What it's showing you is, let me erase all this, is that this angle plus this angle have to be added together to equal that angle, that exterior angle. That's why it's called the exterior angle. It's on the outside of the triangle, the exterior angle theorem. So I've got some activities, or I've got some triangles down here that have the sides extended. The same thing is going to be true, okay? If I focus in on this first triangle, this inside angle 1, this inside angle 2, this inside angle 3, I know all of those have to add together to equal 180 degrees. Well, I also know, if this is, if I number this angle, angle 4, I also know that angle 1 and angle 4 have to add together to equal 180 degrees, right? So I'm going to use that knowledge to say that these two angles have to add together to equal this fourth angle, because that's the same thing. I've got, in this case, a question mark plus the 40-degree angle has to equal that exterior angle of 80, right? So if I solve this just like we've solved every other equation, how do I get the question mark by itself? I do the opposite. I'm showing that the question mark is equal to 40 degrees, which some of you probably already figured out before I did this in the video, okay? And the same thing is true over here. If we're saying that this angle is equal to this angle plus this angle, then I've got 78 plus 68 has to equal that exterior angle, which is the question mark. Question mark's already by itself. I don't have to do anything for the opposite. I just have to do 78 plus 68. 78 plus 68 is 146. If I go down to this one, I'm going to use that same idea. This angle plus this angle has to add up to this exterior angle. That would mean 3x minus 3 plus 4x minus 4 those two have to add together to equal 70 degrees, right? This is where it starts getting a little more complicated. If you guys remember, we've done some examples like this where there's two x's. I've got an x here and an x here. If I have 3x plus 4x, that gives me 7 x's. 3 x's plus 4 more x's, that's 7 x's. If I have this negative 3 and this negative 4, okay, if I'm at negative 3 and I have 4 more I'm going to take away from it, or negative 4 to add to it, that's negative 7. So I have 7x minus 7 equals 70. Now it's time to do the opposite. Now it's time to get that x by itself. So what am I going to do? I'm going to start by getting rid of that minus 7. So to get rid of that minus 7, I'm going to add 7. That leaves me with 7x equals 77. And now some of you, oh, light bulb's going off. I can see what this is going to be. But let's work it out. I've got to divide both sides by 7. And that gets me the x by itself. And 77 divided by 7 is 11. And finally, I'm going to use that same idea for this last example. It says to find the measurement of angle C. Well, in order to find the measurement of angle C, I've got to know what x is. I know that this interior angle plus this interior angle has to equal this exterior angle, right? So I'm going to set that up. I've got 7x plus 3 plus 4x minus 9 equals 115. Okay, so same deal. Let's change colors here. I'm going to draw this line. I see I have a 7x plus 4x. So 7 plus 4 is 11. Gives me 11x. And then I have this Plus 3 minus 9. So positive 3 minus 9 is actually negative 6. Now it's time to do the opposite. To get rid of that minus 6, I'm going to add 6 to both sides. That leaves me with 11x equals 121. Now it's time to divide both sides by 11. And that gets me x equals 11. 121 divided by 11 is 11. All right, but they want us to find the measurement of angle C, right? I need x to do that because angle C, I'll write it off to the side here, is 7x plus 3. Well, if x is 11, I'm going to rewrite that. Now it's not 7 times x, it's 7 times 11. That's right, 711. 7 times 11, 77. Seems like we just did that a minute ago. Plus 3, and 77 plus 3 equals 80. So I'm going to put 80 degrees right in there. Okay. All right, that is it for the lesson. That's it for the assignment. It's basically using, I want to point out this original diagram again. It's basically just saying, things that you guys already know. We already know this angle plus this angle plus this angle have to equal 180. We also know, use blue here, that this angle and this angle have to add together to equal 180. So basically what that's telling you is Z is the only thing that got used both times. Basically what that's telling you is this angle has to be the same as these two angles added together, right? So that's what you're using here. Your homework, or your practice problems, sorry, are on the next page. As always though, if you have any questions, make sure you ask your teacher.